Welcome, Junior Takis. This section of videos is on human reproduction, and in this section I will be dealing, and specifically in this video, I will be dealing with the menstrual cycle. Right. The menstrual cycle is made up of two parts, the ovarian cycle and the uterine cycle. The ovarian cycle is changes that take place in the ovary over 28 days, and the uterine cycle is changes that take place in the endometrium lining over 28 days. Now, I've indicated the ovarian cycle with an O and the uterine cycle with a U. Now, the menstrual cycle always begins from day 0 to 7. As you can see here, what's happening is the endometrium lining is breaking down or decreasing. A better word is sloughing off. And the reason for that is no hormones are actually being produced. And there's no hormones to carry on building and maintaining the endometrium lining. Menstruation will take place. As soon as a woman completed menstruation, the pituitary gland will secrete a hormone called FSH. FSH is follicle stimulating hormone. From its name, this hormone will cause the follicle to develop from a follicle to a primary follicle to a secondary follicle and then to a Graafian follicle. The follicles produce estrogen, and as the follicles are growing in size, the amount of estrogen will also increase. So the smaller the follicle, less estrogen; the bigger the follicle, more estrogen. Estrogen now acts on the endometrium lining, which makes the endometrium lining thicker, vascular, glandular for implantation. Now, on the 13th day, the amount of FSH and estrogen is too high and more cannot be secreted. So the pituitary gland will now secrete another hormone, which is luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone causes this Graafian follicle to swell and to burst and to release the ovum, which is ovulation. When a woman is ovulating, this is the most fertile period in her menstrual cycle. The remains of the Graafian follicle will now form the corpus luteum. Now, this corpus luteum will now produce progesterone, which will continue to make the endometrium lining more thicker, more vascular, more glandular for implantation. On the 27th day, if that ovum has passed and no fertilization has taken place, the 27th day, the amount of progesterone and luteinizing hormone has reached its highest, and no more hormones can be produced. So on the 28th day, no hormones are secreted, no LH, no FSH, no progesterone, no estrogen, and that is what causes the menstruation, which is the sloughing off of the endometrium lining. A famous question you might be asked is this woman pregnant? No. She is not pregnant. Fertilization did not take place because the corpus luteum is degenerating. If the corpus luteum degenerates, progesterone degenerates or decreases, which will cause the endometrium lining to decrease. In the menstrual cycle, make sure that you know the functions of FSH, LH, estrogen, and progesterone. Make sure that you link them to the menstrual cycle. If you go back to this diagram, you will see I have all the functions and all the answers in this diagram. So thank you for joining me and watching the menstrual cycle. Join me and watch all my other videos as well.